Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some r/am at a butthole mixed with some relationships as well. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, that subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, you spicy so-and-so. Let's crack on with today's first story. Now, today's first story comes from Wishbone Wedding, who says, "Am I the arsehole for refusing to include my mum when I go wedding dress shopping?" And it does come with an update as well. I, female 29, am engaged to my fiance, male 32, and we plan on having our wedding towards the end of this year. We are so excited and I cannot wait for him to be my husband. Together we have planned most of the wedding and have organised all of the vendors except for buying my wedding dress. I have started the process of looking for dresses, but most bridal boutiques are fully booked into 2023 to accommodate all of the weddings, which were postponed over the past 2 years. I've called every boutique within driving distance and have been put on every waiting list. About a week ago, I received a call from a local boutique telling me that someone had cancelled their appointment and that spot had been opened up if I would like to take it. The only catch is that the appointment will be early in the morning, as most boutiques have extended their business hours to accommodate as many people as possible. With current restrictions, the boutique only allows for me to bring one guest, so I phoned my mum, female 52, to invite her along. This is an event that I would really like to share with her, as she has always told me she'd like to be there. Unfortunately, as she reminded me, the appointment coincides with her weekly yoga class, which she has been attending for 20 years. I explained that the boutique had me on a waiting list and I did not choose the appointment time, but she feels that I did not push them hard enough. I phoned the boutique back and they said that I could either go back on the waiting list or I could attend. This was their only available appointment, so I confirmed that I would attend. I phoned my mum back to let her know and she again declined, saying that I should know the time of the class after 20 years. So I invited my soon-to-be mother-in-law, female 58, in my mum's place. This has caused a rift, with my parents saying that I am excluding my mum from a special experience and showing my true colours. While my fiance and future in-laws feel that I gave my mum first choice and it was her decision to decline. As of right now, my parents have said that they will not attend the wedding. I am honestly at a crossroads. I am so grateful that my mother-in-law can attend and we share something special, but I would hate for my parents to miss my wedding because they feel so excluded. My mum has told me that she will use this experience as an indicator for how I will behave for the rest of my life, and that she is clearly lower down on the priority list than my future in-laws. She has also said that she feels I vindictively chose the appointment time to purposely exclude her. Am I the arsehole for not trying harder to include my mum in a special mother-daughter moment? Now, you said at the very end there, are you the arsehole for not trying harder to include your mum in your special mother-daughter moment? And that's not the case. She excluded herself from that by not skipping one yoga class, a yoga class that sounds like she has all the time. She couldn't do that for you. It almost felt like a test in some ways. Maybe not a test, but you do it my way or I don't come at all sort of thing. You book the appointment when I want it. And I think in this one, I'd let her to keep excluding herself from this. She's the one who's doing it, and she has the cheek to say, this is an indicator for the future. Holy moly. I'd maybe go along with something like the grey rock method and just say something to her just repeat, you excluded yourself, which is bloody obvious from this. It's a not the arsehole from me, but Cool Clerk 9835 says, she couldn't skip her class one time. Not the arsehole, what a bratty thing to do. You did explain that you were on the waiting list and was only able to get an appointment because someone else cancelled, right? She chose a yoga class over going with you, which shows you how high of a priority you were. You can shove that in her face if she continues to complain. Edit. Imagine causing all this drama over nothing. God, that's a worrying statement, isn't it? If she's going to cause drama over something like this, there's bigger things in the wedding that she could absolutely disrupt as well. But I may be going too far there. Cream says, clearly not the arsehole. Mum is choosing a yoga class she attends every week over a once-in-a-lifetime, hopefully, event with her daughter. Quantum Textric says, not the arsehole. She is insisting that she is lower on your priority list than your in-laws, but I would argue that she's showing you that you are lower on her priority list than a yoga class. You did nothing wrong, and you should not have to reschedule. It isn't about her. Yoga Funk Girl says, not the arsehole. I'm so sorry that your mum is behaving like this about her absolutely childish refusal to miss a 1 in 1,000 yoga class. Please go to the appointment with your mother-in-law. Invite your mum to the fittings. If your parents follow through on the threat to skip your wedding, it says more about them than you. Remember, you are building a new family with your husband and focus on that joy. Sending you hugs. And one more from SukiCat26 who says, not the arsehole. Wow. So sorry you have such a selfish and emotionally immature mum. I hope that you find the perfect dress and have a great time bonding with your future mother-in-law. Best wishes to you. Now, let's move on to that update to find out what OP did next. So, the update says, thank you to everyone who offered some perspective on my original post. The strength of strangers and the support from my new family has been so lovely. The morning of the appointment, my mother-in-law and I were dropped off at the bridal boutique by my fiancé. To my surprise, my mum had skipped a yoga class and was waiting for us. My mum told me that she is still happy to attend the appointment despite everything that I have put her through, and told my mother-in-law that she was free to leave. My mum also announced that she will be paying for any dress I choose to signify her importance as the mother of the bride. Before I could even open my mouth to respond, my fiancé was telling my mum that she was not welcome at the appointment and that we did not need her money. I stepped in and told my mum that she rejected 2 invitations to attend and that her own actions had caused all of her stress. I also said that I will be trying on dresses with my mother-in-law because she has acted more like a mother to me than my mum ever has. My mum put up quite a fight, but my fiancé made sure she left before leaving himself. After a few tears, I had a wonderful time with my mother-in-law. I have since learned that my mother-in-law was raised in an emotionally abusive home, so she is very understanding. Unfortunately, I was not able to find a dress at the boutique, but I no longer need one because my fiancé and I have decided to get married in court with my in-laws as witnesses. My mother-in-law has offered a wedding dress for the occasion. Apparently, she wanted to offer it sooner, but ironically did not want to step on my mum's toes. Oh, don't get me started. We have been able to recover the deposits from most of our vendors, and told all the guests that we decided on a smaller wedding instead. Everyone has been very understanding, aside from my mum. She insists that she always intended on going bridal shopping with me and has told me that she had a conflicting schedule because she wanted to surprise me on the day. My mum says that she only became upset when I invited someone else along before confirming that she could make it. My mum is, as far as I'm aware, trying to have me kicked out of the family by spreading the story that all of my behaviour has been a vindictive plot against her. Thankfully, everyone still seems to be quite happy to include me. The truth is, my mum has always guilt-tripped me and emotionally blackmailed me, but it has taken me a long time to recognise that most families don't operate like mine. To be honest, I am tired of it all. For now, I have my wonderful fiancé who has been so supportive and his family who I love. My parents have been officially told that they are not welcome at the wedding, and I haven't heard much from them since. I don't think that they ever expected me to recognise the behaviour and stand up for myself. Wow, and I got to be honest, I wasn't expecting mum to turn up. You know, we hear this all the time, but when it happens, it's like, whoa, really? And the third paragraph in that update where it said, you know, my mum told me that she is still happy to attend the appointment despite everything that I have put her through. And then told mother-in-law, you're free to leave kind of thing. Ugh. And I'm glad fiancé stepped in and OP is starting to recognise the behaviour, you know. I say this a lot when we talk about stories like this, but, you know, for me to sit here and say, get out the family, all this sort of thing, but for someone who's in the situation, it's got to be difficult to recognise the behaviour when it's sort of normalised. So when they start to recognise that it's not normal behaviour, it must be really eye-opening and, you know, somewhat freeing in some way. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy trip for them because they've got a lot to deal with, but I'm very happy that they're starting to go down this route. I would like to have known what OP's dad was doing in this situation. She said that they were both uninvited from the wedding, but we didn't hear about dad and his role in this situation at all. I wonder if he had the same sort of behaviour as mum or he just never backed OP up at all. And one more thing, I know I'm waffling on here. Classic, as I always do. But when OP was mentioning about mother-in-law and she was raised in an emotionally abusive home and she's very understanding, and then you change your mind about your wedding and said you want to get married in court with your in-laws as witnesses, and mother-in-law offered you her wedding dress and she wanted to offer it you sooner but didn't want to step on your mum's toes, and that was setting me off. I felt tears coming on with that moment. It must have been real special. But now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? How would you have dealt with it if you was OP? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. And our next story comes from Drudorg the Druid, who says, "Am I the arsehole for not sharing medical history before being pranked? Heyo, I'm a schizophrenic. Started when I was 22 and will last till I die. I'm active in schizophrenic communities, go to groups, the works, but I'm fairly private about it to most people, to include friends. It's fairly common for people to think I'm eccentric, comes with a turf, due to some of my habits. Those habits include not going to parties or other places with lots of people, suddenly deciding not to do something. I have to be protective not to go to certain things, or if I think a delusion might be coming on. Saying the occasional odd quip, normal schizophrenic stuff. Some friends thought it'd be funny to make it seem like I might be going crazy as a group. They would individually wear something silly like a wizard hat or a dinosaur costume, T-Rex blow-up costume, to a group event, or say something totally out of the ordinary and pretend like it was normal. Police like to track people like you. COVID is just a way to microchip you, etc. These are very real scary thoughts to me. I would ask members of the group if they had heard concerns about these conspiracies or weird garb from the other members, but they all acted like they had hung out with that particular member that day and I hadn't been involved. I was really scared that this could have been a massive delusion morphing into full psychosis, so I preemptively checked myself into a hospital to stop myself from potentially hurting myself or diving further into the rabbit hole, common in the schizophrenic community. I was so scared my medication stopped working. No one heard from me for a few days while I was in the hospital, and when I checked out, I confided in one of them about what had happened. I got a really long apology explaining what had happened, and I blew up at them. I've ignored attempts from the others trying to apologize and have no desire to talk with them again. Am I the arsehole for not previously stating that I'm a schizophrenic? Edit. People have been asking me, saying to post the length of the prank. Around 3 weeks. Edit 2. Thank you for the awards and stuff, but I really want to highlight some of the messages I've gotten. I'm at around 150 messages and counting, and trying to respond to the ones where I can hopefully offer insight. Resources that I find helpful. r/schizophrenia. For groups, just Google schizophrenia support groups in my area. Something will pop up, and when you actually get there, someone will have a further list. You get what you put into groups. You don't have to talk your first couple of times, but no one will look at you with a batshit look if you say, reality check, is there a bird in the room, or something in that regard. That did happen once, and the audible sigh of relief from 8 other people and the laughter that followed was hysterical. Medication helps so much. It's the difference between being able to go for a walk with my dog and staying in bed all day, but it takes time. So many people have asked what drug and dosage a loved one should go on. I cannot answer that. There are so many drugs out there in different dosages. I can tell that you probably will not have a noticeable difference in behavior in 2 weeks after trying a medication. You start small and work your way up to a therapeutic effect, which it actually helps. It might take some time to actually get to feeling human again. Not every medication is meant for every person, but don't give up. And we're going to start off with Jeffrey the Pig, who says, "No one's an arsehole here. I don't think they meant any harm in what they did, although you could be the arsehole for blowing up at them for pulling a prank when they didn't know that it would have such a huge effect on you." Edit. I know what they did is gaslighting. I'm just saying that to me, it seems like they had no ill intentions to OP, besides pulling a seemingly innocent prank. Heyo2 says, edit, so this is the edit before the next bit. It says, "This went on for 3 weeks. Never mind, not the arsehole, but previous to that they said, a very mild you're the arsehole, because they thought it was just a fun prank and genuinely didn't know about you having schizophrenia. They would have been the arseholes if they refused to apologize or already knew about it, but they had no idea about your condition and apologized immediately when they found out. I understand the blow up, but don't think it was justified, and that's why you get a mild you're the arsehole. The type everyone has been sometimes. I think you can forgive them. They seem alright judging by what I've seen in the story for the aforementioned reasons. At least the ones who apologised. Not that you're obligated to, it's your choice, but I'm just saying that I think your friendship can be saved. Boley says, not the arsehole. Even if you didn't disclose your medical history, they knew enough that saying those things would fuck with you. If a prank doesn't leave both parties laughing, it isn't a prank, it's bullying. Bad as Patsy says, oh honey, this breaks my heart. My partner is schizophrenic and it's hard enough on its own without some group of arseholes deciding it'd be fun to collectively gaslight you. Please go with your gut and never talk to these arseholes again. As far as whether not telling them ahead of time makes you an arsehole, maybe in some alternate reality where schizophrenia stigma didn't exist. Also, I have never even heard of a group of friends doing this particular prank en masse, so I don't know how you could have anticipated this happening, because for the most part, this doesn't happen. I'm proud of you for going to the hospital when you felt you needed to. That's a hard thing to do. A lot of people look back at the friends they had at your age and can't believe they ever put up with such an immature pack of arseholes. You'll meet better people and hopefully some of your ex-friends will learn a lesson and become better friends in their futures. Anonymous Octopus says, I had something done like this to me in high school. We were reading 1985 as a class. I was absent from school one day, and as a lesson for the other students, my teacher got the class in on a prank to illustrate the power of suggestion. She had a bright blue podium, but when I came into class the next day, before it started, they all started talking about how she hated that it was painted grey and that she was going to get it painted back to blue. It went on for like 10 minutes. I was freaking the fuck out, and the teacher said something like, Octopus, you okay? And I mentioned that it looked blue to me, and it kept going. And I finally ended up agreeing that I guess it could have been grey. I thought I was crazy. They broke it to me and I almost cried. It wasn't fun. Edit, I meant 1984. I'm a dingus. Maybe I shouldn't have been absent that one day. Lol. Damn, and that comment just gave me huge flashbacks to a year 6 French class. I can't remember exactly what happened, but it was something similar to this, where one of the class was singled out like that, and something very, very similar happened to them. And I remember they was absolutely in bits after like the big reveal. Damn. Anyway, let's move on to that update to find out what happened next. Hey, I had a few folks message me over the last couple of months, the latest tonight. It touches me that so many of you still message me to see if things are going well, so I wanted to update people en masse. Life is going phenomenally. I axed the friend group and have since been kicking butt. I realised that if my close friend group was consistently putting me down or taking advantage of me, who else could be? The biggest answer was myself. I stopped doing things I enjoyed to invest in people that took joy in hurting me. Turns out it went so much deeper than gaslighting. I got 2 new hobbies, woodworking and brewing. I absolutely love them both and have made friends in those communities. I started cooking instead of takeout, and I met a woman who is now my girlfriend at the local market, and we do most things together now. I realize my job has been taking a huge advantage over me. I work significantly harder and longer hours for less pay than the employees under me. After I transitioned to taking better care of myself, I successfully created a resume that outlined my successes. Recognizing those successes took quite a bit of effort, and got a new job in higher management for significantly more pay. I'm also going to buy a house this December with a yard for my dog and I. Nothing big, just a nice 1-bedroom with a large yard for my buddy and I to play fetch in. So thanks Reddit. Owe you one. Never would have made life improvement if it weren't for an external force. And a nice update in the end, and I hope OP does continue to thrive and live the way that they want to live. It sounds like things are moving in the right direction for them, and I really hope that continues. Now, what do you guys make of this one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for spending 20 to 30 minutes with me today, getting involved in the stories. Your love, support and time always means the world to me, and I can never express that enough. Thank you so much. If you'd like more of these stories, don't forget at the very end of the video there's a couple of playlists there which will scroll through all the stories for you. just click them and do whatever you're doing. And don't forget to let me know what you're up to as well, you cheeky so-and-so. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. Okay, I know that today'll be